Let's talk about sales calls for a minute. I hate them, by the way. Hey, it's Alzay Calhoun with Coveted Consultant. Let's talk about sales calls today. By the way, I don't like sales calls. I bet you don't either. I don't like being on them. I bet you don't either. I don't like leading them. I bet you don't either. But we call it a sales call. That's what we call it. So we'll go with that framing for today for the sake of clarity. Okay? Let's graph what a sales call looks like. So we're going to give ourselves two axes here, right? Okay. On this axis, this will be our time axis. How long you're having the conversation. All right? That's time. How long you're talking. Okay? On this axis, we'll call this one anxiety. This is how nervous everybody gets the longer we're on the conversation. Longer the conversation, more anxiety. So in real time, sales calls look like this. The longer we talk, the more anxious we all get. Sales calls in general are structured like this. The beginning is pleasantries, right? You're being nice to me. I'm being nice to you. How's the weather? How are your kids? Any plans for the weekend? Stuff like that, right? So then we move into this next phase of the conversation. There are a lot of fancy names we give this area of the conversation. A lot of sales experts call this building value. So here's where we build value, okay? Time out. What does that mean? I have no idea, but it's what everybody says, so that's what we'll put here. We're going to build value at this part of the conversation. Okay. So here, when we finally get to the end of the conversation, here's where we close, where we actually ask for the sale. Now, why does this happen? Why does this happen? Because this is the script that you've been given. This is the script that you downloaded from some other guy. This is the script that you were taught in that sales class you took 40 years ago, whatever. Or this is what you thought how it's supposed to go, because everybody who sells things to you sells like this. So you get this script, this thing, and this is what you do. You play nice, then you talk them to death, build value. You talk them to death, and then sooner or later you get around to finally asking for the sale. Meanwhile, by the time you get here, everybody is anxious. Everybody is weird. You're weird. The prospect is weird. No one's getting any value or enjoying this experience. Everyone's just kind of waiting to ask me for some money so I can tell you no, right? Then what we learn is that once we get out here, a brand new conversation happens. Like when you finally do all this stuff and you finally ask for the money, they tell you no, and then all of a sudden a new conversation shows up. But by the time you get here, you've been on the phone 45 minutes. You've been talking to them for an hour. You're exhausted, they're tired and exhausted and anxious, and everybody wants to go. You finally got to a place that might be insightful, but by now we all just want off the phone. Okay, for today, I want to make the takeaway here as simple as I can, okay? There's a lot of ways you can organize this conversation. There is no right or wrong way. That's not the point. What is important here is that your script cannot replace your humanity. Just because you've got a script for the conversation doesn't mean that you have to follow it brick by brick and then wait to this magical thing called the close. The other person is very aware. They can hear and feel that you're working through a script, and they know that at some point you're just going to ask them for the money. So that now they just kind of wait. They hang on until you get here. Then they'll just hang up the phone and they'll just leave. What I would challenge you to do is to be okay offering help when it's appropriate. If you're having this honest conversation and it becomes clear to you at minute 15 that this person needs help, ask to help them. Hey, listen, what I'm hearing right now is that you have an issue that needs to be resolved. Do you want to go ahead and get started right now? See what they say. They may still say no, and now you can have the rest of the conversation however it needs to unfold. Dare I say they may say yes. Then you can close the deal in 15 minutes and then everybody can go be happy, right? And by the way, it can happen here, it can happen here, it can happen here, it can happen while you're still being pleasant with one another. How are the kids? How's the weather? Man, I'm just getting back out of town. I'm having a lot of issues going on. I'm really looking for a solution. Help me with this. Really? Can we help you with that? Been on the phone 5 minutes. Your humanity, your listening ear, your empathy is way more valuable than the script that you've been given and feel forced to follow. You can save yourself time. You can save yourself anxiety.